Welcome to Megapath Presents, where we talk about everything that has to do with the world of The Walking Dead. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk Fear the Walking Dead, Season 2, Episode 5, called Captive. It's called Captive, right? Alright, let's jump right into this. I'm going to have to rate this episode as a mid-good. I think, for the most part, the really big boat, which I know there's a specific name for it, but I'm not good with boats, so I'm going to call it the big boat. That was a very cool set piece. I like that. I really like the idea of being a prisoner on a boat like that. When she ran up, Alicia ran up, and you could just tell, well, how the hell is she getting off this thing, you know? Now, first off, we're going to talk about a big con. Con in two aspects. One aspect being a part that's just not connecting with me, how it's written, like an actual criticism. And another con is one of the characters, in my opinion, but he is a complete nut job, crazy son of a bitch that Alicia should have just pushed off the boat. Not into the water, but onto the land, onto the concrete. Now, let's go into the con, though. You know, it opens up with Connor making her a steak and everything like this. And I feel like some shit is happening off screen and we know nothing about. Because Connor talks about Jack sensing something about her. And then Jack talks about her having an effect on people because he made her steak or some shit like that. Connor made her steak. And to me, in my opinion, that is fucking stupid. Because you either build a connection with a person where over a period of time you grow closer, you grow a connection, you know, a little bit attached to the person, or it's superficial and it's literally lust at first sight. You know, this dude's talking over a radio with a chick. Are you telling me they built a connection? I am more likely to believe he got off the boat, realized he's talking to a hot chick in the apocalypse, and now he's thinking with his wiener, not his head. Where's the connection? It must be happening off screen. So this is the part, and I'm only saying this because I see a lot of people talking about how, oh, Alicia doesn't have any feelings for this dude, she doesn't like him, da-da-da-da-da-da. She's just playing, which is good on her part because she kinda is. She's, you know, paying attention to her surroundings. She's being cooperative so they don't just lock her up, so she can roam around freely and bide her time. She pulls the knife out of his pocket. This is all good stuff for the character herself. However, in interviews, the showrunner's talking about how she thinks in the previous episode there's some potential good in this dude. So when she's like, oh, I'm trusting him, and she's being helpful and being like, oh, you need to help protect my family, she thinks there's a part of that dude that's still good that might do this, you know? And then more in this episode, she's looking at everything that's playing out, and she's like, well, I don't know about this, you know? This dude isn't good, and she even hesitates. In my opinion, I'm not understanding the connection there because I'm not seeing it. They're talking about superficial shit like, oh, look at this dot on the radar and this means this. Where is the connection they're building? In my opinion, it's simply a guy who's being nice to the hot chick for selfish reasons, either companionship or just straight lust. He wants to bang the bitch. End of story. Now, where this turns into a character thing where Jack, the character, is probably a creepy, disturbed son of a bitch, is when Alicia's looking down at her family fighting. Jack comes up and he's like, what are you doing? We can leave, you know? Now's the time to go. And Alicia's like, my family's down there. And this is where Jack just went off the reservation. He's like, what do you mean? Why would you go with them? I thought you wanted to come and get a boat. And I'm sitting there watching the show like, whoa, dude. That was the point of getting the boat, to go get her family. I mean, did I miss something? This dude even takes it a step further and he's like, Alex, a complete stranger by the way, told me what you people did with her. This dude is like, oh, don't go with your family, as if she just met these people last week. This is her family. And this dude, this psycho dude, in my opinion, he's close to a serial killer in this series. I think deep down inside he will eventually transform into a serial killer roaming the apocalypse, looking for Alicia. Now, a couple cool things with Danny. Danny's patching up this little shithead Reed, which, by the way, I hear the Reed is someone from like a boy band or something from like years ago. I think he did a really good job. His facial expressions, I think he nails it. Got spit dribbling down his chin and everything. Dude looked like he was in pains with the sweats, the spit, and all that. I think he did a really good job. Danny, though, did real good. If you guys didn't pick up on that, he was interrogating the dude as he was patching him up, getting information out of him, which was pretty cool. And then later, he gets a smart idea to use him as a walker, which that is going to play a part in my other second biggest con with this episode. But let's move on to Strand real quick, because Strand, coincidentally, fears Danny the most out of everyone, and I pulled that from an interview with the showrunner, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And another thing I want to throw in here that we're not seeing it yet, we're getting a little bit, but Strand and Madison most likely will become friends. They will develop a connection over time. I'm loving this, because if they grow and develop in that direction, that's fighting off this cliche internal conflict, Strand being the Shane of the group. I love this idea. So if Strand and Madison are going to go towards a friendship, you know what I mean? I like that a lot better than having Strand be isolated as the enemy or the villain in the group. Speaking of Strand and the bad guy, we got Alex, hot as hell. I got a new crush now. She showed up all disheveled as a bad bitch. She's like, I told them to get you, Travis, which threw me off guard because Strand cut the rope. But then later they talked about how, to her, Strand is a bad guy, so he just did bad things. He's a bad guy being a bad guy, but Travis knew better. But with Alex and Travis talking, she realized that he was a decent dude, went through something very similar, and then she kind of went off again. We don't even know what's going to happen to her, and she said, oh, no one uses me. So she got what she wanted. She snitched, and that's another thing. They revealed that they knew about the Abigail because of Alex. Alex straight snitched them out, and then she just walked off. I guess she got what she wanted. I don't know, and I don't know if I got full closure here, because what was the point of bringing him on the boat if she wasn't going to, kill him or confront him or whatever? And she did confront him, but, she didn't know how it was going to play out. What if he was just like, well, screw you, bitch, I'll do it again? What was her next step? I think that's the point where I'm thinking, was this just, beneficial to the plot, or did this chick actually have a reason? I think that would be my maybe kind of sort of a con, because I'm not understanding that fully. Let me know what you guys think. Put that down in the comment box. Now, I know Nick didn't have a lot in this episode, but I really like Nick. I like not only when he's messing around with the guns or whatever, but he gives off that vibe like he's just a normal, regular dude, and he's not trying to be something different. He's not trying to be the action hero, of this show. He has like this awkward expression on. He's just tinkering with the gun. I like that. It's subtle, but I think it is perfect. And then when he's talking to Chris, it felt like a really comfortable scene. It felt like, the stepbrother, maybe bigger brother. I don't know. I had that vibe to it. Again, it was subtle. It was kind of like a stepbrother, but there's a potential to have a solid friendship there. And I thought that was really cool, and it was well played. Now, Chris, on the other hand, this is a kid who's starting to lose it, we see. And from the looks of it, I think we knew immediately he's lying out his ass. Now, here's one thing. How did he die? He got shot in the face. You know what I mean? How did that? Because it didn't hit his brain and kill him, because that's what normally would happen, right? Or you would bleed out, right? But would he bleed out that fast? I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he got shot in the face and it just all bled out and then he died. Maybe it broke his neck because of the force. Because that's another thing. It was pretty instant. It's not like they came into the room and he was gurgling. I would imagine him gurgling, and it would probably take a little bit before he completely died, in my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but nothing hit his brain. And we see that later. But here's the one thing where Chris really creeped me the hell out. It wasn't shooting the dude. Hell, to be honest, I would have shot him a long time ago. It was afterwards where he, kind of lied about it, and we were like, okay, you want to get away with it. But then when he was with Madison, she's giving him a hug, and he's all like, I had to. Please agree with me. Tell me I had to. You know what I mean? That's where I had that moment where I'm like, whoa, okay, maybe Jack's not the only serial killer in this universe. He's going from bitch Chris to serial killer Chris. Alright, so Chris caps the dude, and then Danny decides to play it smart and put a sack over his head, and this leads to Problem City. First off, here's the main thing, and I'm going to get this out of the way. This scene is identical to a comic book scene where Negan takes Holly, and I'm just going to straight say it because Holly's dead on the TV show. Holly was dating Abraham. Abraham got shot in the eye. So we were thinking that since Denise got shot in the eye, Tara's dating Denise, Tara would take the Holly death. Boom. Would have fit perfect. Would have been pretty damn cool. And it was even better because it's off panel and it's a surprise. It's a complete surprise. It's an awesome scene, and I tell you what, I will be one moody little asshole if they decide to cut this out because it was in Fear the Walking Dead. And I know the showrunner said in an interview that this is just a coincidence, which I know I've seen a lot of fans just say bullshit straight away. My only thing is, okay, fine, they did it with the show, which does suck. I just got done talking about how this show is going to stand on its own. It's not using comic material because these writers are confident in what they're doing. Now, if they missed it, okay, fine, it's just a coincidence. But if they're going to take comic material now, then why the fuck are we doing an original show that's not, from the comic? It's not a comic spinoff. Just a little mini gripe, because I want this show to stand on its own and be original, because I believe this material has the potential to do that. We don't need to start adapting stuff from the comic. And if you were gonna adapt stuff from the comic, adapt shit they're never gonna do on the show. Shit they passed, like Rick getting his hand chopped off. Chop off Nick's hand. Let's go into some of the big problems. So Madison brings out this dude. He's got a sack over his head, and the walker conveniently makes a lot less noise now than he did inside. Okay, maybe inside it was because it was indoors and it's loud. You got seagulls and water and shit. There's noise outdoors, so okay, whatever. But it's a little too convenient. This isn't the first time it happened in the world of The Walking Dead. They call them ninja walkers. There's actually a name for it. But I think it's a problem they need to fix. Next, they do the trade-off, and the whole time I am saying she brought a gun, didn't she? Didn't she tuck it behind her back? She doesn't use it. At one point, she even kind of lets Travis, who's still tied up, he has to deal with a tough-looking son of a bitch who's charging at him. Now, he gives that dude a vicious headbutt from hell, which was freaking awesome. Anyway, listen, so the second biggest problem, and this is a problem for pretty much all zombie genres, movies, shows, anything that has to do with zombies, the bites are too fucking slow. You're telling me that this guy is facing a zombie, he's in shock because it's his brother, that's fine, that's cool, but he lifts up his arm, of all things, and it's not just like a quick response like he was going to push the walker. I would have bought that. It's a simple fact that he conveniently stays still enough for the walker to bite into his arm, which I know it's a difficult gag because the actor playing the walker has to bite the other guy without biting and hurting them for real, and they have to bite the arm piece in a certain way. If you watch the behind the scenes, it needs to be faster. We're in 2016. We gotta stop doing these walker attacks where it's like, why is your hand up still? He's biting your hand and it's still up. When the fuck are you gonna pull your hand away? You know what I mean? It's to the point where it's 2016 now. Hollywood, stop. Stop. There's that, and then there's the guy next to him who gets bitten on the throat, which is like, you're even worse now. I'm going to shut up about that, but that's even worse. Alright, so we're going to put an image here. This is from Alicia looking down, and the white arrow is going to be Madison, and she is kicking the Travis and the other guy fighting. Now, Connor is bitten on the arm, which is a small wound. It's painful, but come on, why is he on the ground? And then there's guy number 2, he's being attacked. Now look at this other picture. This is still Alicia looking down, and the white arrows are Travis and Madison running to the boat. Then you have, I believe the red arrow here is the other guy who's being eaten, and then Connor still laying on the ground. Now it looks like he raises his head, lifts his head up, so he's probably still alive. But then you have the walker who gets up and goes after the unconscious guy. This I don't get. If the guy he's eating is still fresh and still delicious, why does he stop? And this is something that's problematic in all of Walking Dead, I feel. Now, if there's a noise or something, if something else gets the walker's attention, because in my opinion, I always see the walkers as being more interested in live, yelling, loud food. So if someone was next to them, hollering and screaming, I feel like a walker would get up and attack. But the guy's unconscious at this point. The walker just simply conveniently kills the guy, and then stands up to go after the guy who's unconscious. That's what it looks like. And that shit, I just don't understand why. Walkers are just eating machines. Wouldn't it just keep eating? Alright, but anyway guys, listen, either before this video or after this video, I'm uploading my favorite aspect of Fear the Walking Dead. I think that's a nice conversation piece, so go ahead and check out that video. However, I like this. What do you guys think? The comments I'm getting on social media are people either really like it or they hate it. That's what I'm getting right now. So do you love it or do you hate it? Put your thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.